4 days of record shopping in Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire. Day 3, Nottingham. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to the third in my series of videos. I was on holiday visiting my dad and stepmum in Nottinghamshire, and on 4 other days went to various towns and villages and cities in the immediate vicinity to visit record shops. And on the third day we went to Nottingham. So there were, having googled and what have you, there were 6, I think it was, record shops I was interested in that were in or around the centre of Nottingham. Between them there were sort of various days when they weren't open. So we went on a Wednesday, which seemed to be the best day, when most of them were open. So one of the 6 wasn't open on a Wednesday, unfortunately. 33 Records, I think it was called. No, not 33 Records, I meant 33 Records. Big Apple Records. They weren't open on a Wednesday, so I didn't get to go in there. One of the others, there's 2 that were in a road sort of just leading away from the city centre, but when I got there they were right at the opposite end of those roads, which was, a long walk and too far that I didn't have time to go to. So I ended up going to 4 of the shops. The first 2 I went to go to were late opening, so they were meant to open at 10. The first one I got to about 10 past, quarter past 10, no sign of it being open. Found the second one, and that had a sign up saying that they wouldn't be opening till 11:30. Had a little wander, came back, and the first one was open. So that was the first one I went to. It's called the Music Inn, and it's in a little alley, parade, shoppy type thing off of one of the main roads. Mainly CDs and DVDs, but they had quite a bit of vinyl. A lot of it was jazz. They sort of had 2 big racks, probably 2 meters worth of racks, with 10-15 albums upright, 5 or 6 deep, and 4 or 5, maybe 6 across. So they probably had a couple of 100 records. I'd say half of them, I would say, were jazz. The rest were normal records. But a lot of it was easy listening type music. But I did manage to find 2 items there that I wanted. So for £6, I have this copy of Derek and Clive Ad Nauseam. So this was the second of the Derek and Clive albums. That's Peter Cook and Dudley Moore's filthy alter egos, basically. I have all the albums on CD. I was gifted some VCLT that contained Derek and Clive Live and Get the Horn. So I've been on the lookout for Ad Nauseam anyway, and to find it with the original sick bag sleeve was an added bonus. So the track listing is on the bag, plus the sticker saying, in case of sickness, use this bag. Not in, not the cleanest bag, but nice to have the original. Needs a clean. And, a couple of very light scratches, but nothing major. Yeah, glad to have picked that. And then there was a few Rogue albums on the wall and on shelves sort of above the CDs, and I spotted this Miles Davis and Milt Jackson Quintet Sextet for £10, so nabbed this. This is a reissue. It's not an original, it's a fairly recent reissue. I did find it when I was cataloguing it, but I can't remember exactly when. It's in a nice polylined inner, and it was, a little bit dusty, but otherwise perfect. So that was Music In. So from there, I headed to, once I eventually found it, lots of these record shops that I visited during the 4 days, sort of tucked away in alleys and, you know, not immediately obvious where they were. But I found 33 Records, which used to be called something else. Forever Records, I think it was. And from what I can gather, from what the owner was saying to somebody else who was in the shop, they've recently moved to these new premises, which are nice but a bit too small, apparently. I sort of headed where I thought it should be, going by the map. Went into this courtyard section and missed it entirely, mainly because I was distracted because there was a chocolate shop. But then as I was walking back from a chocolate shop, I didn't buy anything in the chocolate shop because it was a bit too posh, but as I was walking back, I thought, oh, this is it, Factory Records. And it had a sign in the window saying open, but then there was just this big door, painted door, that didn't look like a shop door, and it looked locked. So I thought, right, okay, so how do you get in there? So I walked back to the chocolate shop to see if there was an entrance through there, and there wasn't. I peered through the window, and the owner sort of peering back at me. So I thought, oh, well, I'll try that door, and it was the door. But there was nothing on the door indicating it was the door to 33 Records. So I was like, oh, sorry about that, mate. I wasn't sure how to get in. He said, oh, in through the outdoor. But, okay, I'll get that. I understand that reference. Loads of records. So he didn't have a proper counter. He had sort of stacks of obviously stuff he'd bought in that he was cleaning and pricing up, etc. All his prices I could see from what he was doing came from a Rare Record price guide, not from Discogs, just that for reference. Then there was some new in boxes, then some 12-inch singles. They were big plastic tubs. Then soundtracks, hip hop, which I didn't look through, but then realised I should have done because there is one particular album I've been looking for. But by the time I'd been round, somebody was over there anyway, so I never bothered looking. Soundtracks, then 70s, 80s, 90s, and noughties to current. Then, so I'm just trying to, then on the end was jazz and an 80s section that was all, it wasn't even sleeved, it must have been the rubbish, if you see what I mean. I didn't go through that. Then round the corner was sort of genres, so reggae, folk, I think, certainly soul and funk, with a separate Motown section of that. A few more. Then there was classic rock, and then a big wall of new arrivals. Oh, there was a bargain section just for the new arrivals as well. It was what were they? £5 records, I think. Then the new arrivals, and then the 7-inch singles, and then outside of the main room where you come in, there was a £2 record section which looked like they were mainly 12 inches, but I didn't go through those. But yeah, I ended up finding quite a bit that I needed. So in no particular order, apart from about 7 inches at first because I'm on the top. So first up, so his thing. Sorry, kicked the stand there. He had stickers on all the sleeves saying what they were, something about them, what pressing they were or anything like that, that needed pointing out, and the price. But then what he did, when he took the records up, he peeled all those stickers off before he added anything up. So he peeled all those stickers off the sleeves and sort of stuck them randomly on bits of paper and sleeves that were in front of him. And only after that did he add everything up, which we'll get to at the end. But it means that there's no prices on any of these, so I've got to try and remember how much they were. So forgive me if I may be wrong, but this is from memory. So I think this was £5. So this is Dr. Fink and the Mystery Band Tribute, and it's 2 mixes of a compilation of Beatles tracks. So this I wanted for two reasons. One, because I collect Beatles covers anyway. You can see a little medley of Sgt. Pepper's, Lucy in the Sky, Magical Mystery Tour, Animal Walrus and Strawberry Fields. Two different mixes of that. But yeah, A, because I collect Beatles covers, but B, and more importantly, Dr. Fink was the keyboardist player for Prince from 1978 to 1990. In the Revolution, he was the one in the Doctor's outfit with the mask and what have you. He was cleaning records, but it didn't look like he was just sort of dusting them rather than properly using a cleaner or anything like that. There is a faint mark on here. I hope it's fine. Interestingly, and it's the first time I've ever been in a record shop that wasn't playing music. You know, either radio or, you know, music they were testing or anything. But it's just complete silence in there. It was very strange. He had a turntable there, which presumably uses to play stuff for customers or what have you. But how you can run a record shop and not want to have music on, I really don't understand. But that's that. £3, Manic Monday by the Bangles. Again, as I'm sure you're aware, written by Prince. So I have this on 12-inch, but I didn't have it on 7-inch. And it looks in good condition. Again, they don't look like any of it's been properly cleaned. This is an upgrade for me. So this is Prince's The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. This was definitely a £5. So the copy I have that I picked up in Sounds Records in Southsea a couple of years ago, the sleeve was very tatty, which was fine, and he didn't even charge me for it because I'd spent so much money. So it's nice to have one in a better condition. So you can see there where he's sort of torn off the stickers, but some of the stickers didn't tear off properly, and yeah, as I say, we'll get to that. And then a Divine Comedy 7-inch that I didn't have. So this is Jerusalem. So this is a very early single when we're on Satanta. And the side 2 is actually a house, or a house, however you say it, with I Lied, and with Frank and Walters with Daisy Chain. So it's almost like a promo 7-inch for Satanta. Jerusalem is not, you know, and Dig Those Feet in Ancient Times. It's a different song. Then in the New In section, I picked up the soundtrack to the music from the Apple film Son of Dracula, starring Harry Nilsson and Ringo Starr. So this is for a Harry Nilsson collection, really. I don't think there's anything of Harry's, certainly. Well, maybe there is. I was going to say, I don't think there's anything exclusive to this, but no, I think there is certainly some incidental music on here that's exclusive. But it also features the Moonbeam song, Without You, Jump Into the Fire. That is on a Rapple. But yeah, this was pretty much perfect, I seem to recall. A bit of marking in the run-out groove, but the actual playing surface looks fine. I think this was £8. I think. So also in the New In section, and apparently he literally only put it out, he said it might even have gone out whilst I was in the shop. This is John Martin's Inside Out. From 1973. It's on the Pink Rim Island. Yeah, some light marking, but nothing which should affect play. Another nice one for the John Martin collection. This was priced up at £18, but more on that. In the 12-inch single section, I picked up a couple. So this is Rest in Peace by Extreme from their third album, 3 Sides to Every Story. So this comes in a poster bag and is a one-sided 12-inch. So I'll show you the vinyl first. No label, which I think is normal, but an etching on the other side. Nothing overly exciting, but a nice clear etching at least. And then, yeah, it's got Rest in Peace radio edit, Rest in Peace the LP version, and Peacemaker Die on it. And then, nice bit of cardboard in there to keep it in decent quality. Huge, great poster. And then on the other side, it's got the lyrics and the logo. That was, I think, a £5. And then I think this was £8, also in the 12-inch singles. This is a promo copy from Indolent Records of Sleeper's Nice Guy Eddie. So this only on 12-inch came out as a picture disc. Roulette wheel picture disc, which I do have. So, yeah. Nice Guy Eddie and then Blazer Sleeves is the B-side. Generic Indolent on the B side, but on the A side it says promo only, don't sell it, and drinking tips, stick an olive in it. But yeah, that's a nice quirky title to have. In the soundtracks, Jungle Fever by Stevie Wonder, so the soundtrack to the Spike Lee joint. 1991. Original inner on Motown, of course. Yeah, it's pretty good. Few marks on the run-in groove this time. I think that was priced up at £20. So in the on the side that had like the funk and soul and what have you, they also had some. They also had the 60s section, and that had some subcategories of some of the bigger groups, including the Beach Boys. So this is the Beach Boys Love You, and this is an American press with the textured sleeve. Did also have a UK press with the normal sleeve, but went for the rarer over here version. On Brother Records and Reprise. Again, needs a bit of a clean, but nothing major mark-wise. A couple of light marks. And this was £8. Okay, that was it from Matt's shop. So yeah, took him up to the counter. He said, "Oh, you know, there's an interesting mix," and as he was going through them, and we had a little chat about the Dr. Fink one, because he said, "Oh, this is actually quite good." I said, "Yeah, well, I got it because he's Prince's keyboard player." He said, "Ah, you know something about that nobody else does." So yeah, he was peeling off all his stickers. A couple of them didn't peel off correctly, ripped in half. A couple of them he just couldn't get off, so he just swapped the sleeves. And one of those was the John Martin one, and he moved the sleeve with the price sticker on it and sort of put it on top of a stack of records next to us. But he finished doing all that, and I thought, oh, maybe he's adding them up in his head as he was going along, but he wasn't. So then he was adding them up, and he sort of added them, and I think they came to something like 68 or something, and he said, "Oh, I'll do that for 60." And I said, "Oh, you've missed this one," because he'd missed the John Martin one. And he said, "Oh, well, in that case, for your honesty, you can have them for 70." So that £18 John Martin record only cost me a tenner. When I added them all up, I think it was £82 worth of records, if I remember correctly. No, I think it was £86 worth of records. Let's quickly do it. 8, 28, 36, 41, 59, 67, 72. I can't remember if I said that was a fiver as well. 72, 77, 80, 85. So it was £85 worth of records, cost me £70. So I was happy with that. Then I found, I think it's Rob's Records. I'll put it up on the screen if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain it's Rob's Records. So that was the one that wasn't opening until 11:30. I was prepared for this shop, because you do need to be prepared for it. But even then, it was still a bit, Rob's Records has been in existence for 30 odd years. They have a very unique, well, I say unique, there probably are others like it in this country, but interesting way of running their shop. Basically, it's just boxes and boxes, cardboard boxes full of records, just all stacked on top of each other. It's like a hoarder's place, basically. You know, so you've got records with a box of records on top, squashing those records with another box on top. You know, it was a nightmare. I mean, CDs and cassettes and all sorts in there, but I only looked at the vinyl. Yeah, it was quite claustrophobic, which doesn't bother me, but could bother some people. And I was sort of very dubious over the quality of the records in there. But they were cheap, to be fair. So I was only looking sort of at the stuff that was not being squashed for a start. There was some rhyme or reason. So it had new arrivals and then some more new arrivals. There was a soundtracks and comedy section. There was funk and soul section. And that's pretty much all I looked at was those, because the rest of it just looked... and I needed to get out of there. But I picked up a few titles. So... roughly in the order that I found them. So in the newest arrival boxes, I found this 12-inch single of Sheila E., special medley of The Glamorous Life, Sister Fate, A Love Bazaar. This was £3. It's, you know, the sleeve's a bit tatty, but not terrible. No inner sleeve. I don't know if there should be one or not. It's 12-inch single, so possibly not. None of the records have ever been cleaned, or certainly not there, quite clearly. But doesn't look like it's anything that won't clean off. There's no scratches or anything, so it should be fine. So as I say, that was £3. Sheila E., Prince's drummer, former fiance, had her own solo career, still has her own solo career. These tracks all written by Prince, all feature Prince performing most of the music, and A Love Bazaar is actually a duet with Prince. So the special medley is on one side, and then A Love Bazaar parts 1 and 2 are on the other side. Then in one of the other new in sections, I found this. Rutland Times, Eric Idle and Neil Innes. So this is £4. The Rutland Weekend Songbook. So Rutland TV was what Eric Idle did after Python split. It's where the Ruttles came from. And Neil Innes from the Bonzos did all the music for it. And this is the album of it. Pretty decent condition, this one. Well, I say that. The sleeve is it's sort of scuffing on the vinyl. You can see it. Sort of around there. But I don't think, again, it doesn't look deep or anything, so it should be alright. There is one scratch there that might cause an issue. But we shall see. Once it's cleaned, it might be fine. Then one of the guys who works there saw me pick this up and said, "Oh," and pointed out the soundtrack and comedy section. There was no comedy tracks there that I wanted, but there was some Bond related compilations that I picked up. So for £4 was James Bond in Action. So this is the themes from James Bond movies by Roland Shaw and his orchestra. Dr. No, Goldfinger, Thunderball, From Russia with Love. So yeah, they're all, I think... Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any sort of extra tracks bulking it out. They're all versions of tracks from the soundtracks. This is on Decca. Can't remember if I said this was £4. Again, some light marks, but record this age, it shouldn't be an issue at all, and needs a clean. This is for £3. Several surface marks, but plays through okay, according to this, on Allegro. Thunderball, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Other Secret Agent themes. Various artists. Not the originals, obviously. No inner sleeve at all on this one. Not in great nick. But again, it's an old record, so hopefully it might be a bit noisy, but it should play through okay. But, you know, it was £3. And then this one, warning, boobs. John Barry Revisited. Okay, this was a whole £8. This was quite expensive, this one, but the sleeve is in very good condition. So these are basically a compilation of John Barry tracks, quite a few Bond ones, but also Zulu, tracks from 4 in the Morning, a couple of Chad and Jeremy tracks. This has had 2 releases, this album, on Explosion from Ember, but yeah, this has got some sort of mark on it, but it's really a scratch, and it certainly doesn't look like it's going to affect play. Trying to see, where is it? Yeah, there. Don't really know how to describe it in person. But, yeah, there's been 2 releases of this. So this version obviously has the plain grey back cover. The original release had a full frontal picture of that young lady there on the back, according to Discogs. And then this was only £2, and it said inner cover damage. So this is Scott Walker. Scott sings songs from his TV series. The sleeve is in terrible condition. You can see, you know, it's obviously got stuck together and water damaged, and it's falling apart on the front. As I say, A, it was only £2. B, the record, it needs a clean. It's, you know, sort of got dust and bits of paper on it, but it's actually immaculate other than that, surprisingly. And C, he didn't charge me for it anyway. He let me have it for nothing. So, yeah, really don't care that much about the sleeve for now. Sure, I will upgrade it in the future, but for now, happy with that. So that was there. Yeah, so it was £24 worth of records, I think it came to, and he let me have him for 22. So basically, I'd say that £2 one was free. Then the last one I went to was Rough Trade. I checked a couple of charity shops, again, nothing major. Even the Oxfam, which was a books and music Oxfam, overpriced stuff. There was a Wendy and Lisa 12-inch that I nearly picked up, but I didn't bother, because it didn't look in great condition with vinyl. But yeah, went to Rough Trade. So Rough Trade is 95% new vinyl, but they do have a little bit of pre-loved. I nearly didn't bother going there, but I'm glad I did, because I found 2 rare Prince-related 12-inches. So for £3, this is The Oak Tree by Morris Day. So Morris Day was lead singer of The Time, the rival band in Purple Rain. And this was sort of his big solo hit. It wasn't a hit over here, but did well in America, certainly in the R&B charts and what have you. So this has got a couple of 4 different mixes: the extended dance version, a cappella vocal, single edit with intro, and the instrumental dance version. Dusty, but The actual vinyl looks fine. And then they sort of had it by section of value. And in the £5 section was 100 Miles Per Hour by Maserati. So this is a promo copy for a start on Paisley Park Records. Side 1 is 100 Miles Per Hour LP version, and side 2 is the edit version. So it's produced and arranged by Brown Mark, who was the bass player in Revolution. But most importantly, it was written by Prince. So Maserati, probably the most interesting thing to casual non-Prince fans, was that they asked Prince for a song and he gave them a little track called Kiss, which then was a bit of a slow bluesy number. They worked on it. Prince liked what they did, stole it back from them, and that was the version that became a US #1 hit single that we all know and love. So that's sort of their biggest claim to fame. But yeah, that was Nottingham. Another good haul. You know, really pleased with some of those. Would have been nice if, you know, the other shops were open, but more than happy with those. So that was day 3. Day 4, I went to Chesterfield to 2 record shops. Really good haul in one of those, and some decent stuff in the other as well. And that'll be the next video, hopefully up in the next day or 2. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks. Bye.